exploring life after failure.
You never know who you will meet that will open that door for you.
You just need that one person to see and believe in your vision. And despite our first trip to Bolivia ending in someone trying to steal our technology, we stuck with it and didn't give up. Hey guys, I hope you have been keeping positive and motivated. If this is your first time here, I am Tor and I share my experiences as part of my Life After Failure series to entertain, encourage and inspire you and people all around the world. If you've not watched part 1 yet, there's a link in the description below. Okay, so we may not have achieved what I had in mind in our first tour to Bolivia, but what I've learned is that it was definitely worth coming back to keep on trying. When we return to Germany, we have enough time to plan a team picture, pack up things for our next trip and strategize of how we might get through to the highest level in government. If you remember from episode 1, I wanted to develop our combined cycle engine technology in collaboration with Bolivia for President Evo Morales to hopefully present it as an alternative to the upcoming UNFCCC conference in Cancun. I realized early on that if I wanted to be successful in Bolivia, I wouldn't be able to turn up and assume that because I was German, they would accept me and let me in. Actually, the exact opposite. Bolivia is a country with a big part of its history of being plundered and taken advantage of, which is why Evo was so keen on extracting and developing the lithium resources himself despite getting very lucrative offers. I needed to make this project my own and really get emotionally involved. I really didn't speak any Spanish, but I was determined to learn. It was a very difficult process, but with the help of my wife and speaking without the fear of making mistakes, I became pretty fluent within 3 weeks. It was important to me to present myself without depending on an interpreter. I believe that it takes that emotional connection away. I also wanted to understand the reactions and responses we were getting. I have no shame in telling you that whenever I would present my vision for Bolivia, which was to empower the country through our clean tech that could deliver energy to even those who did not have access to it at the time, my voice would break and I would tear up. What started out to be a commercial opportunity due to the failed UNFCCC conference turned into a personal mission to solve Bolivia's energy problem while preserving the beloved Pachamama. While you might think that that was naive thinking, looking back, I believe that that was one of the reasons why we were so successful in Bolivia, and it is still something close to my heart. My father and I discussed and planned the design of the RT that we hoped we would be building in Bolivia. It wouldn't be the ultimate version, but it had to be designed so even people without any technical background would understand why our approach made sense. Carolina and I fly back to Santa Cruz to spend a few days with Carolina's father as we continue to try and get a meeting organized with EMI, one of the top engineering universities in Bolivia, which happens to be military based and it could open the door for us. The thing about Santa Cruz was that their mindset was different to the rest of the country. It is the country's economic locomotive, and through several meetings and an interview with a big engineering magazine, they all questioned why it was so important to me to work with the government and focus on solving the energy problem for those who don't have any. And my response was, building our prototype in Santa Cruz would not have been a problem. The skilled workforce was there, but I don't believe it would have had the same impact and effect for the whole of the country as the government sits in La Paz, whose support we desired, as the plan was for President Evo Morales to present this technology at the next UNFCCC conference for the whole world to see. Finally, we hear back from EMI and travel to La Paz to prepare for a meeting with Coronel Barrero. I believe he was the head of the engineering and environmental department at the Achumani campus at the time. He had the biggest poker face on him throughout the whole of the presentation and gave nothing away. Eventually he shared his excitement and was very keen to collaborate with us. We were hoping he could quickly connect us with the rector of the school who would have to sign off on this, who we also have been trying to arrange a meeting with for the longest time. We're desperately waiting to hear back from Colonel Barrero or the rector's office with a date for a meeting, but nothing. It seemed that we hit a dead end again, feeling frustrated, not knowing what to do next. But this was when everything changed. We managed to arrange a meeting with Fernando. He informed us he could meet us at our hotel for no more than 15 minutes in the morning. We were waiting and waiting in the lobby as Fernando is already 5 minutes late. As he finally arrives, he emphasizes he doesn't have much time. I tell him about my vision and the technology, but he stops me halfway through. He pulls out his phone and makes a call. Carolina and I are confused and wondering what was happening. Fernando tells us he cancelled his meeting and he will take us and meet someone. I had no idea what was going on. Neither of us did. We didn't realize that the door that we were so desperately working towards was about to open for us. We got into the car with Fernando, not really knowing where we were going, but we eventually arrive at the Central Army base in the city. We are frisked, our bags are checked, and we receive visitor badges. As we walk down a steep hill, I'm in awe as the fact that we were on the grounds of the military base about to meet someone very important is sinking in. I still didn't know who this important person might be, but just being on those grounds meant so much to me. We enter one of the many buildings and waiting in front of this red door for probably 45 minutes. After a lot of anticipation, we get to meet General de la Fuente, the third highest ranking general of the Bolivian army. He clearly was very important and meeting him alone was such an honor. Fernando introduces us and as usual I would share my vision to empower Bolivia through our alternative energy generation. This time it was not only me who was teary-eyed, but General de la Fuente was deeply moved of what we wanted to achieve in Bolivia. After this meeting everything moved really smoothly and quickly. Through General de la Fuente we meet General Agreda. He was one of our biggest supporters and he and his secretary would risk everything to see that this vision would come to light. The point is that through it all, a few days later, we have a meeting set up with Colonel Villarreal and 15 others who wanted to hear what I had to say. I explained we wanted to work in collaboration with the government and EMI to develop the next level prototype. I also explained that we were still waiting for a response from the rector of the university. Colonel Villarreal says no problem and asks if we have time. And naturally we say yes. He calls the rector of EMI immediately and asks if we can come over. I am not joking, literally 5 SUVs pull up in front of the building and we are all heading to the university building in convoy. It felt unreal. As everyone is cramped inside a nice but small office considering we were close to 20 people, everyone including myself is anticipating the response from Colonel Castellanos, EMI's rector, after we had presented him our vision. All that hard work and determination finally paid off. EMI will support with the workforce and the army will supply workshop and workspace. As an agreement is finally being drafted and planned to be signed within a week, we get shown our workshop and office space to be in El Alto. The workshop was missing walls, but they assured us that that would all be taken care of. The day finally arrives. Not only do we document the day, the army have their own film crew and photographer present. While General Agreda and de la Fuente were not signing the agreement, they chose to be present to show their support to this agreement. The day that we signed this agreement, I felt so happy, hopeful and definitely a sense of relief. I believed that finally everything was working out as we would be back to get started when we would return just a few weeks away together with my father. I was 100% invested into this agreement, but now we had to prove ourselves and put what I had promised into place, which turned out to be more difficult than I ever imagined, but not for the reasons you probably think. But that is a subject for the next episode. I hope you are as excited for it as I am. I will see you there, and guys, in the meantime, stay positive and stay motivated.